Wait. Hey, there we are. It is Wednesday, 7 p.m. It is the Death Rattle podcast.
Why does the clapping keep looping?
Because I keep hitting it. It's not long enough. I was hoping that it was going to go. I was hoping it was going to go a little bit longer, but it's not long enough. So I just kept hitting it over and over again. Anyway, it's 7 p.m. here on the East Coast, 4 p.m. out there on the West Coast, and 10:30 something. Who cares? A.m. all the way in down under in Australia, and those over on either side of the pond. What's going on, everybody? Good to see everybody in chat. What's up? And
what is up?
Also, a very, very special happy birthday to Mr. Kenny Becker, everybody.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. So we have a little
KK beat you to the punch.
We have a little something for our friend that we're gonna have to cut out of the stream later, but it doesn't matter. All right, that's enough of that. Happy whoa, there he is. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Good to have you. We've been doing the Death Rattle podcast. We've been doing this podcast for over a year.
Yeah.
And it's been a good one. I think we've had some good times. John Connor, yeah, it's the same band as the Bat Metal video. It's the same band.
Yep.
But yeah, so good to see everybody. Modern Horror Shutter was our opening comment today. Hello, we're gonna look up Buddy. Yep. Good to see you. Darren, what's up? Good to see you. Otaku, Jobit, B Movie Theater, what's up? Good to see everybody. John Connor says, almost forgot about the show, feeling a little sick. Oh man, I think there's a little bug going around, but hopefully you feel a little bit better later on. Hopefully we make you feel better. Your horror hosts here at the Death Rattle podcast. Pepper Noel, hello. Smiley, hello. Smiley, we got your emails. Thank you. And Gaston, we also got yours. What's up, Gaston? Good to see you. Smiley and Gaston have graciously submitted some logo artwork. We're not going to tease anything, but if you guys can't remember, last couple of weeks we've been asking for a new logo because the one that we have is a bunch of AI generated slop, and we hate it. So if any artists out there want to spend 5 minutes to shit us out a logo, we will use it because we don't want to be AI. So
we won't use it. We're not going to say we're going to use yours, but we'll consider
it. Sorry,
all of them, and then more than likely pick one of them to be our, and then of course shout out the artist regularly.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan says, anyone else hate this, whether it's Netflix or Paramount? Here's the thing. We're going to get into that. We're going to get it. I don't hate it. We're going to get into that. But
really?
No, I don't care.
You don't hate it?
No, I don't hate it. No, it's just a bunch of
dangerous.
It's just a bunch of corporations that are they're just in a dick swinging contest over who's going to make Batman gay. That's all it is. So I don't care. I don't care what Netflix are doing.
I think it's dangerous as hell.
Wow. Well, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. I think it means a lot. It means a lot for entertainment. It means a lot for indie, but it's a lot of good news for indies. I truly believe this. There's a lot of
the biggest thing is it is gonna really hurt theaters.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what's really
potential to basically shut down theaters.
But this is what I'm going to push back on when people say, "Oh, this deal is going to kill theaters." No, it's not. Bad movies are what are killing theaters. This would have hurt.
No, I don't even think it's that. I think it's bloated budgets.
Dude, it's
bloated budgets with bad movies.
It's bloated budgets. Yes, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of problems. However, a lot of those problems are fixed or are not felt or not seen as like glaringly obvious if movies are good. Like if we get Spider-Man No Way Home, if we get 10 of those
tons of people go to the theater. Yeah.
Everybody's going to the fucking theaters. Nobody's worried about this.
I mean, watch next week, dude, when Avatar comes out, which I don't even think it'll be that. I don't even think they're that great of movies. But even still, everybody and their mother, it'll make $2 billion, just like the last one did.
What will?
Avatar, the new Avatar.
Oh, well, yeah, but see, Avatar is an interesting
I'm not
franchise.
sure that
We'll talk about that too, but like,
my point is just people still go to the theater, period. Like when there's a
well,
movie that people want to see and they enjoy, they'll still go support it.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
dude, look how many people went and saw stupid Wicked, like the Wicked movie.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Or even FNAF, dude, which I thought was a steaming pile of shit.
Yeah.
Like they still made $100 million, dude.
Yeah.
Opening
How
weekend.
much did they spend on that? I haven't looked at the
I think it was 20 or less.
20 million. Yeah. Well, 100 million, that'll do it. I mean, that's what you get when you can exploit a built-in with an IP, when you can exploit an IP with a built-in audience. That's what you get. You get $100 million. Your movie can be trash. It doesn't matter. People are going to go see it just because it's their favorite IP.
Yeah, but they won't continue to go see it.
They won't continue. That's correct.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They won't
it's like
continue.
Avatar. Yeah, everybody and their mother will go see this one because the last one was good enough anyway. Most people really liked it. I didn't, but whatever. But the point is, if this one's trash, next time around, you won't see as many people going to see it.
Yeah.
Like you're going to get diminishing returns. And that's what we're seeing. It's like, Marvel had built in this equity so that people continued to go see them. But then after one after another were just trash, it's like less and less and less.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, when you're spending 300, like that story that came out was last week or whatever, where I think, did we talk about it in the last podcast? But I don't remember. But it was like the reported budget was 300 million for Wolverine, Deadpool Wolverine, and everybody praised that movie like it made so much money. And it's like, yeah, on the surface until all the numbers started coming out.
Well, and because 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? There was a story that came out that Disney and probably every other production movie studio underreports their budgets by at least $100 million.
Well, that's what this was.
And this,
because they said everything said, like, and if you look it up even now, it still says 300 million or $200 million budget or whatever, right? But when everything was all said and done, it's more closer to 500 million.
Yeah.
And it's just insanity. And that's the thing. It made over $1 billion. It made more than any other R-rated movie ever has. That should have been a huge win. But when you spend 500 million, you're lucky if you're even breaking even, because you're splitting that with theaters. So it's like, yeah, maybe it made 1.4 billion, but only half of that did they actually see.
Right.
And when advertising and everything is all said and done, it probably broke even, which is just ludicrous to think about a movie, spending like that much money to where they can make $1 billion and still break even.
I've been saying
it's got to stop.
You're starting to sound like me. Architect Sam.
Yeah, says, I texted you right after I saw that, and I said you're right. Like you're right about like that case. Like I never argue as far as movies having too big of budgets. It's just a lot of movies that you're like, it bombed or whatever. I'm like, no, it probably broke even a lot of times.
Thank you, B Movie Theaters. Says we made his most watched channel this year in his recap. That's awesome.
Nice.
Wait, was it us? Was it us or was it Ghost Pirate? It was probably Ghost Pirate.
I guess it was Ghost Pirate. Death Rattle doesn't have that much content.
Yeah. Sorry, Architect
unless
Sam
he just doesn't watch you hardly ever.
Architect you know what I mean? Sam says she now knows who John Connor is. She had never seen Terminator.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You see both or like
both.
I mean, I guess there's more than two, but
no, there's not.
I know.
No, there's not. There's only two.
Which one? Terminator Salvation's cool.
Jordan says, I don't think the Ellisons are making a gay Batman. If they're a big movie studio, yes, they are.
Well, and it wasn't. He was being facetious.
Yes, yes.
Like he's not saying that they're actually going to make a gay Batman. Maybe they will, but that wasn't his point he was trying to make.
Let me see here. Pepper says if Paramount buys it, it would be better for theaters than Netflix.
Yep.
Well,
I know. I'm really hoping Paramount which I guess the latest report is it isn't a done deal
We love
because
you, Warner.
Paramount
Well,
has a
yeah, they're doing a
new
hostile
bid
takeover.
in.
Yeah, and the FCC is going to have to get involved, and or not the
Yeah.
FCC. Is it the FCC?
Yeah, it's the FCC. Yeah, because they have to see if it's because it is kind of cornering the market. That's the other reason why I'm not a fan of it. Because you have the biggest, it's like Disney owns a ton of shit, right? But at least with Disney, they started their own streaming service. It's like if Disney were to go and buy Netflix, you know what I mean, or something like that, where you have the biggest company at making movies and the biggest streaming service. It's like a monopoly. I can't see how they aren't going to see that as a monopoly.
I think I read an article
because Netflix alone could put theaters out of business.
Do you know how much of the market share that they would own if this deal goes through with Netflix and Warner Brothers? How much of the market
I know
share?
it's over half. I know that.
No. But it's close. It's 30%, which is huge. A 30%.
I guess out of everything. Yeah. I'm thinking of like
30%
because there's only
huge.
Because there's what, 4 big conglomerates, 4 big companies that make movies, right?
Universal, Paramount, Warner Brothers, Netflix. But also
there's what's the 4th? Fox.
Fox? I thought Sony was bigger than Fox.
More maybe it's Sony. But it's funky too because like who's the parent company and like who owns what and all that. Because like there's movies that are made by HBO, so to speak, but that's owned by Warner, so it's actually a Warner. So it would be Disney because Disney owns Fox now, so Disney would be the 4th biggest.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right.
Company at making movies.
I'd have to look it up, but yeah, but if Netflix.
Either way, there's only a couple that basically make the vast majority of especially the big movies. And so 30% is like insane because it means that is more than like a quarter of the entire pot.
Well, and not only that, but all of the IPs that they would then own is just
that's why it's bad.
It's
not even like the theater thing is bad, right? Because like I said, it could if Netflix decided we're no longer putting movies in theaters. That means no more Terminator, no more Predator movie, or not Predator.
Yeah, but they came out and said that they were
Batman. Like, I know. I'm saying if they did, they would have literally the power to almost completely put theaters out of business just by themselves. That's how much power they would have if they decide. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if they would put it. It would cripple.
They won't. I don't think they would.
You wouldn't have
saying they would have that much
theaters
power
anymore. You would only have art house theaters. You would only have.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, which
it would put the theater business out of business. I'm not saying there would be no more theaters, but it would put the business like that would be.
Is that such a bad idea? I mean, think about it. Think for a minute. Let's go into imagination land. Okay. Let's say you're a father of a family, right? You got your wife, you got 2 kids, and you're a dad. You're a hardworking dad, blue collar, and you want to take your family out to the movies. So you have to go there. You have to buy a ticket, which is $20. All right, maybe not 20. No, what's a Friday night price for a ticket? I always
$12.
It's 12?
12 and 14, depending on which theater and what city.
All right, let's just be generous.
I've heard as much as 20. Like it depends because it's all about because there's matinee prices, there's Tuesday prices. Yeah, there's
look,
it depends on the theater, depending on the movie.
Let's just
say the most I know near me for like the big screen, like the most expensive ticket at Cinemark near me is $18.50.
So all right, let's just.
But that's for like the big XD screen, like premiere night, like
For my story, let's just go with 12.
It's more than 12.
Okay, 14.
Yeah, like I would say 14. Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's go with $14 for a family of 4. You're a blue collar guy working a job. That's $56 just to get into the theater. Now you got to buy popcorn and soda and candy for the kids. Average box of candy is what, $6, $7, $8?
Yeah, it's crazy. But
Okay.
that isn't.
Wait,
I
wait.
don't understand how them being gone is going to change this equation.
Well, I'm not. Let me tell my story. We gotta get to the end. Okay. We gotta get to the end. This is what
All right, I'm listening.
these megaplexes are gonna do, are
Yeah.
doing, because no, if you have smaller art house theaters, they are not charging these
If you're a
prices.
family of 4, you're spending no, they'll have to it'll cost more. That's the
Um,
problem. That's the problem. That's what I thought you were getting at. The problem is if these theaters are gone, the art house theaters are now having to charge even more.
I
But
disagree. I don't think so.
regardless, we're not even going to get to see any of the movies in a theater. Like the only art house theaters wouldn't be able to play any new movies. They would only be able to play like older movies. Like, because if
Well,
theaters went out of business and then companies aren't going to release them to theaters anymore, which means the new movies are just all going to be streaming.
well, they'll have limited runs.
No, there would be
Netflix,
none. There'd be none. If the big chains went out of business, there would be no point in releasing them at all. Like if there's only little art house theaters. So it would only be old stuff. You'd be able to go and see like, like you'd still be able to see movies, but you wouldn't be seeing the new releases. They would all be streaming.
No, I disagree.
Because they would put all their marketing. No, it's because it would be about marketing. They would put all their marketing into, hey, this is where you can pay per view it, because that's what would happen. The new model, parents are still having to spend a shitload of money. Theaters are still going to need to recoup that same amount of money for the movie they made. So if there's no theaters, that family of 4 is having to rent it at home.
Well, that's what
you're still spending a bunch of money
now. So, okay, my whole point.
No, but the thing is, they're doing that now, but it's like 2, 3, 4 weeks later.
Well, yeah.
And that's why I don't see how it changes. If you're a family of 4 and it's expensive, just don't go see the brand new movie. Like, treat it as a treat to go out to a theater and see a new movie. Otherwise, you wait a little bit. You wait, and then it's streaming. You rent it, or you wait a month and it's on HBO or whatever.
Yeah, but movies used to be a blue collar entertainment choice.
No, they never were.
Yes, they were. They absolutely
were. Think about it when you were a kid. How often did you go see to go to the movies?
Back in,
it was still a treat.
Back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. It was a blue.
I remember
you were paying $5, if that.
Exactly. You know how much gas was a gallon?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cheaper.
Yeah, it was nothing. It was a blue collar.
No, gas was $1. It's all equivalent. It's the same. When I was a teenager, right? Going to see a movie was like $5. Okay. But it was only $1 per gallon for gas. So it's the same thing basically as now, because gas is like $4 a gallon, depending on where you live, $5 a gallon. You know what I mean? It's still the same thing. It's not any more than, because when I was a kid, it was still expensive. Like it was just relative to the times. Like $1 went further, but $1's value, you didn't get paid as much an hour. Like I got $4.25 an hour. So like I'd have to work an hour to go see a movie. Guess what? How long I'd have to work now if I was a teenager making minimum wage? I'd have to work an hour to go see a movie. It's literally exactly the same as it was then. And like, I'm not even like being hyperbolic here. Like this is it literally is exactly the same.
No.
But it is, because minimum wage,
like,
when I was 17, minimum wage was $4.25 an hour. Going to a movie was $5 an hour, or $5. Now, if you were working a minimum wage job and you're 17 years old, you're making $15 an hour. Guess how much it is to go see a movie? $15. I mean, like it's like literally one for one. It's like a 1-to-1.
Okay. Look,
the only thing that's changed is that there is such a thing as a streaming service now. Like that's the only difference in this equation. If you're a family of 4, it's still just as expensive as it was then, based on how much your income was.
But you're not making minimum wage if you are, like, back then. You're not making minimum wage if you're a family man and you're working and you have a.
Neither are you now.
You're not making minimum wage.
Yeah, but neither are you now.
Right, but the cost is still hitting you.
No, I'm telling you, it's the same. Like the value of $1 was just higher back then, man. Like I said, gas price was $1 a gallon.
I understand. What I'm trying to say is,
I'm telling you, I grew up, we never went to the movies. It was just as expensive for a family equivalent wise to go then as it is now. People just, the difference is our brains see $15 an hour and they're like, that's insane for a movie. We don't think about the fact that we only made X amount of dollars back then. Like if you made a $200 paycheck, that was a lot of money back then. $200 paycheck now is nothing.
So you don't think that the production price, you don't think the production price of a film is what's driving the cost, is what's driving the cost of the tickets to go up? You think it's just
no, because it's basically the
it's
same.
Just inflation.
Yeah. Like if you look at the inflation across the board, it's like that with everything. That's the problem. That's the problem with, like, if you really get into it, it's the problem with them raising minimum wage constantly. It's the problem with everything is constantly fighting each other. So it's like every time they raise minimum wage, guess what? McDonald's has to pay more money an hour for their employees.
Yes,
so
we all know
they
what
raise
happened.
the price of their burgers.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? So it's like it goes across the board.
Yes, we all know
it's not just because it would be different if it was just movie theaters that were raising prices, right? And it wasn't other things, but it's actually the same. Everything is basically raising it equally across the board, you know?
I don't think it's equal.
The difference now is that you can stay home and watch a movie. So if you're a family of 4, it's much cheaper to stay home. But the thing is, it was back then. It's why people went and rented movies from Blockbuster.
But it's the experience. It's the entertainment that you're getting.
Exactly.
That's why you go.
Like,
so it's like
streaming service is literally exactly the same as the video store was for us growing up. You know, like when you were a family on Friday night, it was only a splurge that you would go see a movie at theaters. Most of the time on Friday night, you'd go and rent a couple movies. So it's like now, same thing. Like movies, they're new releases. You know what I mean? They're a couple weeks old or a month old. They're not brand new in theaters. And so what happens? You rent it on, at home, you stream it, and it's like $20 to rent a new release. That's why I think the model right now is good. The only issue I have with the entire equation is these companies spending way too much money to make these movies and then freaking out because they can't make their money back and acting like everything's losing money right now. It's like, no, the only reason it's losing money is because you're spending too much money to make a movie. Like when you have these movies made for like $40-50 million and they look as good as Deadpool Wolverine, like explain to me why that movie cost $500 million to make. I've seen a bunch of YouTubers talk about it, and like there's tons of movies that were made for 100 million, like right around 100 million, that look just as good. There's no reason. Yeah, there's no reason. Yeah, that's a perfect example of like what you can do on a budget. Like there's tons of special effects in that. They had stars, even though we don't recognize those faces. Those are big stars over there, so they still had to pay them, a decent amount of money.
I just don't see prices. If all these mega theaters close, I do not see the price of a movie going up that much. I see it going down. I see it being more of a commodity, or not a commodity. I see it being more of a, the other word that I can't think of off the top of my head, not a commodity.
It would just be a niche product. It would be a specialty product, which means it would be more expensive. Like it would be like going to a theater. So instead of like $15 to go see a movie, it would be a bigger deal. So it would be like $30-40. It would be an experience to have a night out. Like it would be like going to a comedy show. Like comedy shows when I was younger were like a lot cheaper. Now it's like $30-40 a ticket.
Really? For a comedy show?
Yeah.
Not here, brother.
Well, I'm not saying for like a local, it's like going to see a band, right? You can go see your local band for like $10-20. Well, I'm talking about like to go see a headliner type of deal.
Well, yeah, if you go see a headliner band, you're also paying $30.
Yeah, no, way more than that. Like, see, concert tickets are what I'm afraid of is going to happen with movies. That's what I'm afraid of. Because that's something where you can look at it and it actually has gone out of control. Because like when I was younger, you could go to a concert for like, like 20-30 bucks, which equivalency would be like going for like $100 now. It's not. Like going to Aftershock was like 30 people were spending $300, $400, $500 to go to that fucking concert.
Was that like a festival?
Yeah, like that's, but it's not just that. Like if you go see Paul McCartney or you go see Metallica, like Metallica tickets are like 250 and up. Like that's the difference.
Yeah,
that's what I'm concerned with, is that movies would become a niche thing, and still because it's supply and demand, right? Like when there's a lot more of it available, it's cheaper. The more narrowed down it becomes, the more expensive it becomes. And so like if you're a movie theater, the only way you could stay open would be having to charge more, because you're not going to be selling out every night. You're not going to be getting nearly as many people. So the only way you could stay in business is charge more.
Right, but if the demand is up and you have less,
it wouldn't be.
If the demand, why wouldn't it be?
Because there's less of it. So there's less of it because less people are going out.
That's
like less people going to, yeah, exactly. Less people going out to the movies means there's going to be less theaters. Like there's less, because if these big companies
make people want to go out to see movies again. That's my whole point.
Exactly. But that doesn't going to be putting out, like, making good movies. I agree with you completely on, but like having theaters go extinct, like the big theater chains, is we don't want that. We just want to force people to make decent movies. The problem with Netflix buying everything is they would have the power to completely control the theater business industry in a major way.
I mean, yes, it would be influenced. That's not.
They would have too much power. That's the problem. It's not, I'm not saying that they would definitely decide to not put movies in theaters anymore. I'm not saying any of that. We don't know exactly what they would do. But the thing I'm afraid of is it's just too much power for one company to have. Like, because they have the market when it comes to streaming, and then they would basically have also the market when it comes to making movies and the theater business. So like that's dangerous, because it's one thing if they're just making movies, but they would control the theater business as well as the streaming business. So they could force people to only watch movies on their platform. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know. This just
because like think about all the different IP they own.
What?
Think about the IP that they would own.
No, I understand.
Like anytime there's a new whatever, if they decided the only place you watch it is on Netflix, you'd have no other choice but to have Netflix.
Well, you'd always have a choice. I mean, you're always because
that's what Netflix already does. Where, like, for instance, a movie like Hush, they refused to put a physical copy of it out, and then they took it off their platform completely. And Mike Flanagan had to go and pay a bunch of money to buy the rights to his movie so that it could be seen, because it literally there was nowhere to even watch it.
Yeah.
Because Netflix owned it and they decided to not have it on their platform anymore. And so it just literally was like it didn't exist anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to be careful with the contracts that you sign.
Well, right? Like they own the product. Huh? They own the product. Like it's just like my friend's movie in Poland. Like when they make a movie, they decide what they want to do with it. They made the movie.
I mean, if he signed the ownership rights over to Netflix, then that's his.
You always do, man. Any company that makes a movie, like any of these companies, they own the rights to that movie. They could do what they want with it. They decide to not put it in theaters or even release it. They can do that. That's why the whole shit happened with Batgirl, where they, Warner just deleted the fucking movie because they owned it.
Well, they didn't delete it. It's just it's on a shelf somewhere. Maybe.
Well, technically they were supposed to.
Maybe we'll be able to see it.
But according to taxes, they were supposed to actually destroy the movie. So like supposedly, really? Supposedly they actually destroyed the reels. That doesn't mean there's not one hiding somewhere or something, but in order to get the tax write-off, it had to like literally not exist anymore. Yeah.
Well, that's okay. It was probably a pile of shit. So
because there's the whole, I know exactly, but there's the whole thing with Coyote versus Acne, Acme, where it's all like they were going to delete it. And then there's another company that is coming in and I guess bought it. So now it might actually get released. But it's just dangerous. Anytime a company can just completely delete a product like that, and
Physical
Netflix
media.
and but
physical
Netflix
media.
doesn't, but that's the thing. Netflix doesn't make physical media.
Yeah, no, I know.
So what happens if they, they do buy Warner and then they decide we're not making physical media anymore?
Sail the 7 seas, make your own.
So like all of those properties that they own, now none of those get physical copies anymore.
Sail the 7 seas, make your own.
And then going forward. So I'm just saying it's a scary precedent and it makes me nervous.
It's interesting times. I think there's plenty of there's plenty of problems. I think there's also plenty of opportunity there. You're always going to have competition, and yeah, there's Netflix if Netflix, this goes through and Netflix get it, they're going to be the big dog. They're going to be the big boss and everybody's going to be way back in the day. But I remember a story of a little company called New Line Cinema back in 1986.
Yeah, that was put out of business. It's not a very good example, dude.
No, that later, but they were just they were selling videotapes. What's his name was selling videotapes out of the back of his van.
Yeah.
Invested everything he had into Nightmare on Elm Street, blew up New Line Cinema, and then years down the road, they got bought out because of.
I mean, you can look at examples now, like A24, Neon. Like, look what Neon's doing. And A24,
the competition is still there.
They've won Academy Awards with their movies. Like they've had, movies making over $100 million now. Like those companies are tiny little indie companies. Like that isn't what scares me. I don't get worried for horror. Like horror is still going to exist and there's still going to be tons of great horror made because these companies will continue to make it. And those are the kind of companies and stuff that'll still put movies out in the little tiny independent theaters and stuff, So like I'm more worried about these big franchises that we've grown up loving that, Netflix will completely own distribution rights and you're forced into having to deal with Netflix's bullshit. And as it is, they keep raising the prices of their platform more and more and more. And like it's, and from Netflix end, I get it too, because the one problem Netflix has right now is they don't have much content. Like they keep making all this content and it's all trash. Like most of their original stuff is not good. Like they get lucky every now and then, but most of their stuff has not been good. And this would be an instant, like tons of content,
This is what I was saying. Gaston says if companies like Netflix decide to corner people like rats just to make them watch content their way, they shouldn't be surprised when piracy skyrockets. And that's what I'm saying. Piracy, like there's a lot of piracy even now.
Yeah.
Because of
no, it's actually the worst it's ever been right now.
Yeah.
We just don't hear as much about it, but it's actually like it's crazy. And that's the thing. Like if theaters go out of business, like that's not going to change piracy.
No, no, it's not. But I just look. You
want to
save
theaters, left with.
You want to save theaters? Make better movies. That's what's gonna save theaters. Netflix
I think we need.
They want. If you make good movies and they go out and people go to the theater to watch them, that's what's gonna save theaters. So it's not.
I think that we need less and better. Like there's way too many movies released right now. It's insane. Like
yeah, but that's not going to happen.
Because like every week, there's no way for these movies to make their money back when they're up against like 4 other movies at equal level.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's where again the quality has to come in because we're not going to get less. We're always going to get more. It's so easy. It's so cheap to make a movie now.
But it's not. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm fine with making a ton of movies if they're like small budget movies, right? But they're not. Like these are like when we're talking about two different things here. The little $1 million movies, make as many of those as you want. Whatever, right? But it's these 50, 100, 200, $300 million movies. There's too many of those. Like they keep spitting those out and then expecting them to make their money back. And they're just, you're not. So stop, like the movies like what's the one that I had in my head? The Running Man. Like that's an example of what I'm talking about. We need to stop doing. Like if you're the Running Man, nobody's clamoring for that. So definitely don't go and spend $100 million to make that movie.
Right.
You're not going to, and then releasing it when it's up against like 5 other movies at the same time that are all right around the same level. You're not going to make your money back.
Right.
Like that's what needs to stop. You know, like if you want to release these, you know, 2 big budget movies, you know, make a couple of them a year. Instead, make a lot more lower, you know, mid to lower level budget movies. That's why a company like Blumhouse can continue to keep rolling, because even though their movies, like a lot of them suck, all they need, because their budgets are so small, they just need like 1 or 2 movies a year to like make some, like Five Nights at Freddy's just made enough money for them that doesn't matter that they had a bunch of other flops that sucked this year, because they had Five Nights at Freddy's. It was like last year that was Megan, or not, the year before last. You know, it's like that's, as long as they have one of their movies each year make like $100 million, like they're good.
Yeah.
Because they can make like fucking 100 movies.
I would love to get in a room with Jason Blum and be like, dude, teach me, please, just teach me. Like, how do you do it? How do you fucking do it? But yeah, no.
Well, he did it by having like, you got to have some, like, there's a lot of people that look like geniuses, but they still had some money to start with.
Well, you know? Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he started in a mailroom somewhere and came up. Like, he seems like a guy, like, I watched or listened to a podcast.
Yeah, he works hard, but he had some money to invest to start with.
Yeah, well,
you know, like he invested in a couple movies that did decent, and he just continued to like,
you got to roll
keep
from there.
Budget super low,
yeah,
and keep you know, like I could do that too. Like I know I see so much talent out there. Like if someone were to give me a couple million to start a company, I guarantee you I could make you a profit. Yeah, but I don't have the money to bankroll it, so it's like, you know. But I also don't think he's got that great of an eye for talent, because like a lot of the stuff they put out now is just bad.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know who is in charge of that at this point, but it feels like as the years have gone by, Blumhouse is putting out less and less like good movies, and they just have a couple a year that, or like I said, like 1 a year that makes money. But even that, like Five Nights at Freddy's is not good. Like the first one was okay. This second one was just bad.
Yeah.
Like plain and simple. It's just a bad movie.
I didn't see the first one. I didn't see this one. I had no.
Oh, you would hate this one, dude. You want to talk about a poorly written movie?
Yeah, like, movie theater. It was Clerks. He sold his comic book collection to make Clerks, and that's where, like, look, man, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna bemoan the loss of theaters if it happens. I think if theaters go the way of the rental house, I think that's fine. You're still going to have your art house theaters. You're still going to have your mom and pop theaters that are going to be able to show movies. They're going to,
but the difference is, what did we replace?
Spider-Man there.
Replacing one with something is the thing.
Huh?
You know, like your comparison, the problem with what you're saying is like, what did we replace? Like, what did we replace the rental house with? You know, the VHS rental business got replaced with what? Streaming. What are we replacing theaters with?
Why do you have to replace it?
Because then all of a sudden you have a hole in the market. Like the only reason that the movie ecosystem is still good after theater, or after the rental house went away, is because you still had a way to watch movies at home. Okay. If you're
still going to have that.
No, you just literally would. Yeah. But you would have nowhere to watch movies out.
But if nobody's going to the theater, then what's the point? The people that still want to go to the theaters are going to have a theater. What I'm trying to say is
they won't release those movies.
These smaller mom and pop
theaters won't release those movies.
Okay, but if they're shit, then nobody's going to go see them.
Like, there'll never be a time.
Release the shit movie in a theater for nobody to go to see. Then everybody wins. You're gonna get
like,
mom and pop
there'll never be
theaters.
a time. No, there'll never be a time where there's not any kind of theater. You're right. There would always be little mom and pop theaters. The problem is they wouldn't have new movies.
What I'm saying is, if
like these big companies that we're not going to release them and promote them and all that, if there's not big theaters to play them, they're not going to spend the money for that.
Then maybe we'll stop getting $300 to $500 million pieces of shit.
No,
maybe we'll get more.
No, we wouldn't, because look at Netflix. They still spend 200, 300 million to make movies. They're just streaming now.
Right. And they won't go to theaters. So what you
you'd get even more because they don't spend any money on advertising. That's why Netflix makes tons and tons of content that sucks dick.
I honestly think we're saying
like if what you said was true, then we would have not so much garbage on Netflix. Because Netflix, it's not like what you want is better stuff, right? But that wouldn't happen. We would have nothing but Netflix, basically, is what we would be looking at. A world where there's nothing but streaming services and they just make tons and tons of garbage.
Why? Why is that the world?
I don't know, but that's what Netflix has done.
Okay. Well,
because they don't have to spend the money on marketing. They don't have nearly as much of a risk involved. They could spend 200 million to make a red fucking whatever it was called, with The Rock and like that movie that was just god awful trash. They spent like 300 million to make that movie.
No, what was it? It was that Christmas. My mom loved that.
No, not that one. That one too, but no, the Red Notice. That action movie with Ryan Reynolds and shit. It was like the most expensive movie ever made for streaming. I think it was like 300 million or something like that. But they could do that because they had no marketing cost. They had no splitting with theaters. They could spend all that money and still make a shitload because everybody was going to still watch it on streaming. And even though it was just trash, they didn't have a loss. They didn't lose any money because people still watch it.
All right, Livewire.
We would just have a lot of that, and that's what I'm afraid of.
Livewire says if movie theater chains close, companies will not release them to mom and pop theaters, and the nostalgia movie theater fan population is smaller than fans of new releases, including indie. Okay.
Yep. It would just be like like physical media is.
Where is the problem?
Because we would not get any movies in theaters anymore. We would not get any new release stuff. Would just not go to theaters.
Right, but if all of these
I love going weekly to see the latest movies.
But if they're all trash, then what are we actually losing? Just the experience of going to the theater to be...
But they're not all trash. There's at least some good ones every year that come to theaters.
1% of the movies that are released.
No, you're just a picky motherfucker. Like,
I'm not.
You
okay, and you just like everything. So, all right. Now that we've got that out of the way,
Exactly. Neither of us, we have to look at the middle, which is where most people land, is somewhere in that middle zone.
Right.
And so I think they still see probably about they probably enjoy like a third or maybe even half of every movie they go see in theaters. They at least feel like they got their money's worth at least half of the time.
I'm not
maybe actually more than that. Maybe more than that. Because if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores,
if that were true, we wouldn't have had the second.
Look at Rotten Tomatoes. Look at Rotten Tomatoes audience scores, man. Audiences are still pretty happy with most movies that come out. I don't have to agree with them. You don't have to agree with them, but like still,
we have
most
talked
people
about the problems of the Rotten Tomatoes on this show, and you're invoking Rotten Tomatoes. Like we've talked
about audience. I'm talking about the audience scores, not the critic scores.
They even fuck the audience score.
Either way, most the time, like it isn't like regular people are not as unhappy with the movie industry as you are, or even honestly as much as I am. Like the average people still go see a lot of these movies and they're like, I enjoyed it. And I'm like, what?
Firefrau, I think
like look at Five Nights at Freddy's, dude. Like most people are still enjoying that movie, and I thought it was awful.
Yeah. Firefrau says, I love going to the theater. Sisu 2 at home? No. I think Sisu, I think the Sisu movies are enough where if we just had the mom and pops, you would see Sisu in theaters. You would see a Sisu in a mom and pop theater. That movie is small enough. It's indie enough. It's not. You're not going to see a Marvel movie in
because
theaters.
it was still put out by a major company.
I still think that they would do a run.
Like we would still see like A24, Neon. We would still see a lot of those kind of level of movies.
You're not going to see a Marvel
movie. But even them, like, because it would become
a DC movie.
But even those movies, it would be hard to recoup the money it cost them to put out at all.
Right. What?
Yeah.
No.
Like even those movies, it would be tough for them financially to release them instead of selling it to a streaming service. Like if we were in a world where there was like almost no theaters chains anymore, then if you're like an A24, you don't have enough of these. You would have to literally deal with each theater as its own company. And that's where it becomes complicated. Because like right now, if you're A24, then you have a liaison that works with Cinemark and you split the cost, you sell the rights basically to your movie to Cinemark, and Cinemark puts it in X amount of theaters. If you have mom and pops, then you go back to the old school drive-in days, and it's like a lot harder to try to distribute that movie.
Okay, you know what? I found the solution. Here's the solution. You ready? Here's the solution to all of this.
Bring back the drive-ins.
Bring back the drive. That's a good one. But also repeal the Paramount decree. Repeal United States v. Paramount that says that movie studios can't own theaters.
But then Disney's going to own them all. Netflix is going to own them all. See, this is the thing.
But then we get movies back in theaters. That's the whole problem.
But this is my issue with what's going on.
Saved.
I know, but this is my issue with what's going on right now.
Repeal United States v. Paramount.
And that's why if they let Netflix buy it, or if they let Netflix buy Warner, it's bullshit. Because it literally is the exact reason they won't let Disney own their own theaters. Like, how is it any different? You know what I mean?
What?
It's like Netflix is basically cornering the market. Like, and that, and that's my issue.
So repeal it. Movie theaters are saved. If the only thing we care about is saving movie theater chains, then
if you're gonna let Netflix buy Warner, then yeah, I would rather live in a world where they can also have a slice of the theater pie, so there's a reason for them to put movies in theaters. Because that's the problem I have with it right now. Is for Netflix, it makes no sense to put movies in theaters because then they have to split the cost or to split the profits with the theater. So Netflix, like with Frankenstein, they're like, why bother? We could just release it on Netflix and make all the money. We don't have to split any of the money.
But that's another thing that I think needs to happen is these streamers need to be compelled to release their numbers. And I think that's an advantage that they enjoy is that they're not being compelled to release their numbers. There's no real way to see exactly how many people are watching for how long and are sticking around. They need to be compelled to release their numbers. And then once we get to see that, then we can go, oh, maybe they're not doing as good as, or whatever. Maybe these movies aren't making their money back.
Netflix must be if they can afford to fucking spend what they're spending for Warner, dude.
Look,
I think what we're seeing is that Netflix is making a ton of money and not claiming all of it on the taxes, on their taxes.
The argument could be made.
Plus, the rumors that I'm hearing is that both companies might be in bed with fucking with the whole Middle East oil people.
Yeah, it's all corrupt, man. It's all fucked.
Yep. That's why I'm not a fan of any companies on these sides being able to merge, dude. It's like,
B Movie Theater says, but then all the theaters would be owned by whoever has the most money, not by who makes the best movies. Well, yeah, because
exactly.
Look, where's the problem there? That's always been the case.
Yeah, but the problem is it's exactly where we're heading right now. Even more reason why Netflix owning Warner is a problem, because the more you have a big company that owns everything, the less they have any reason to to make good shit. Like Netflix can just continue to shit out as much garbage as they want.
No, that's not true. We've seen that over the last 5 years. That is absolutely
but Netflix literally controls.
Reeling. The fact that Warner Brothers is being bought by Netflix is direct reason for why you don't make shit. You don't make stuff
but
that doesn't
that's
make money,
the
or else you're
difference
gonna get
with
fucking
Disney.
bought.
But that's the difference with Disney, right? With
No,
Disney, because they don't have a streaming service.
Theme parks, they have all of this other shit. They're not just a movie studio.
I know, but
Apple and Amazon can't be thrown into this argument because Apple's a phone company that's dipped their toes into media. Amazon is a package delivery company that has dipped their toes into media.
So listen, Disney is kind of the same thing, right? They don't own a huge chunk of the streaming market. And so we're still able to hold their feet to the fire. They made a bunch of shit movies and people are not going to see them in theaters. And so we're holding their feet to their fire. Yeah, but the more that Netflix owns, then you can't hold their feet to the fire. If you do, you literally have nothing to watch.
You vote with your dollar. Okay.
Because
you piracy.
They own Warner.
Say they own Warner. You download
they own Warner.
Yeah. Download.
They own Warner. Then they buy out Paramount. And then eventually, I mean, where are we going to draw the line is the problem. Like, where will we draw the line? Netflix will eventually own every company, every movie, everything, and be forced to watch things only the way they want it.
No. Competition and the almighty dollar is the great equalizer. You just
exactly competition.
Watching. That's what
competition.
Look, man.
But that's the problem. If Netflix owns it, where's the competition?
I hate corrupt mega corporations just as much as the next guy, but I am also a fucking capitalist. And I believe that competition can knock down. It's a David and Goliath scenario. Competition can knock down the biggest giant.
But what you're saying makes no sense, dude. Because you're by Netflix buying Warner, you're getting rid of now they have less competition. Because if they own the whole entire catalog of Warner Brothers, they have no competition. There is no other streaming service that owns anywhere close to the catalog that they have.
And so if they want to hold on to that, then they need to make sure that they're making movies that are faithful to these IPs and that they're making good movies.
Nah, dude, Netflix could just literally sit on what they already own. Like, my point is they don't have to be a good streaming service because there's literally no competition now. They have the vast majority of the properties out there and own all those IPs. So now the sequels and remakes and all that shit, like, they own it all. Like, my point is, the reason it's an issue is because of the less competition.
We got a new
at least right now there's HBO Max that they have to contest with. There's Disney. Like, Netflix is the biggest, but it's not like a huge gap between them and the next up, right? But if they own all the Warner stuff, there is nobody close.
Give me 30 seconds and we can get back to this. But Curse of Yig. Yes, my channel is called Horror Sucks. I invite you to go watch some of my stuff. I am a huge horror fan. I love it. It's my favorite genre. The name is very ironic.
He likes to be a troll
for certain reasons. So if you go check it out, I hope you do.
Yeah,
you don't have
he
to.
Likes to be a troll.
You'll understand. Okay. So all right, say what you just said again. Sorry, because I wanted to explain that. I don't want anybody to think that I want anybody to think anything bad or wrong.
I'm just saying, like, right now, Netflix has competition because, like, you have HBO Max, you have Netflix, you have Hulu, you have Disney Plus, you have Paramount. Like, everything is like, nobody is like Netflix isn't. They're the biggest, but they're not like miles and miles above everybody else.
Tubi could be a competitor to Netflix.
No, because a big chunk of what they have is Warner. And Netflix would take all that shit. Like, right now, none of the stuff that's on Netflix is also anywhere else. That's the thing Netflix has done since their inception, really, is like whatever they have, it's their exclusive stuff. The other streaming services, you'll see a lot of the same stuff cross-platform. Like, you'll see a lot of the same stuff that's on Prime is also on Netflix, is also on Hulu, is on Tubi. Like, it's, but Netflix always, whatever they have, it's just on Netflix during that time that they have it. And especially all the stuff that they own. Like you never see like like Stranger Things, you'll never see it anywhere else.
Well,
like
good,
none of
because
their exclusive stuff, they never let it go anywhere else. Like that's the problem. If they owned all of the catalog of Warner, then now like a good third of what Tubi has is not on Tubi anymore. And there is no HBO Max anymore if they chose to. Like, I'm not saying they would do this, but they would have the power to do this. They would have the power to literally merge Netflix and HBO Max. And now you have none of that content. And it's like, it just becomes like where they completely have a monopoly on streaming. And all those other ones it wouldn't be long before they would all die out. Because like, think about it. If you were to take that amount of the good stuff away, like say HBO Max, like, or where, like whatever, like Hulu, whatever, like once they take that huge chunk of the pie away of content, if Netflix were to do this, then how long do you think it's going to be before those other companies go belly up? They wouldn't be able to keep people subscribed because they wouldn't have enough content to keep people watching their streaming service.
All right. So I disagree with that. And here's why. So I have a black pill and I have a black pill and a white pill for people to swallow when it comes to a lot of this stuff. And even before this whole Netflix Warner Brothers thing, this black and white pill I had already consumed and had been offering to others. Here's the black pill. All of your favorite franchises are dead or are going to die. They're not going to be saved. You have already got the best Batman, the best Superman, the best Marvel. You've gotten the best Star Wars. You've gotten the best Star Trek. You've gotten the best everything that you love. Disney, you've gotten the best. It's already happened. It's not coming back. It's dead. So that's the black pill. It's gone. Here's the white pill. There are plenty of emerging great properties and intellectual properties coming out right now. As far as comic books go, I've been reading a lot of comic books from this company called Rippaverse, and they are amazing.
You're saying this black pill, white pill thing wrong.
Well,
people are going to misunderstand what you're trying to say, because what it is the black pill means you kill off everything that you've ever had prior. You kill it all, but you get new shit. The white pill is the white pill. No. But you get all the old shit.
No, I'm saying it right. The black pill is that you're never going to get this again.
Why would anybody ever choose? Why would anybody ever choose the black pill? You're going to kill everything.
You take both pills. You take the black
pill. You're saying it wrong. Because the way it is told, like I've heard this, the way it's told is you could choose one or the other. You basically, to make it more simple, you either you can either kill off everything, all the franchises, all your favorite stuff forever, but you get bunches of cool new shit. Or you don't get anything new from this point forward the rest of your life, but you get all that old back catalog. What do you choose? Me personally, kill it all. I'd much rather have the potential to have new shit and be excited about new things to come. If that, and if I have to kill off everything I love from, that I've already seen, so be it. I'm not a rewatcher, but a lot of people love to rewatch shit. Like they'll rewatch fucking Predator 1,000 times. I don't want to live in a world where they're forced
if you want to live in that world, then that's the world that you're going to get. However, there is new exciting stuff coming out that you can fall in love with just as much. And the one in the comic book universe that I know of right now is the Rippaverse. When it comes to superheroes,
I agree.
Like that's it. When it comes to horror, I mean, this year was one of the best years for new release horror. And even indie. Well,
there was a couple really good big ones, but to me, the best by far were the small stuff, the Together and
I'm not saying you shouldn't.
Hard Eyes.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't rewatch the good stuff. I rewatch.
Dude, Ken Sledgehammer horror Ken.
Yeah,
fucking said that Hard Eyes is trash. He posted it on Twitter the other day. He was pissed off. Like, why are they making a sequel? Because they announced that they're making a sequel to Hard Eyes.
Well,
and
he's
I was
wrong.
like, well, because some of us loved that movie. I think it's great.
Hard Eyes was awesome. Ken,
I'm
love him.
excited that they're making it a franchise. Oh, I know. I
He's
love Ken. Ken knows I love him, but I was like, what
yeah.
the fuck, dude? I did not expect him to hate that. He also, oh, what was the other one? There's another new movie that he hated that I was like, oh no, another friend of mine. Like, I'm curious what you're going to think of the new Silent Night, Deadly Night, because I love it. I saw it this summer at Fantastic Fest. It comes out tomorrow. And like, I'm kind of sad because I've already seen it. And like, I wish I could see it again for the first time, but
Guten Abend, Frau Joy.
Yeah, anyway, a friend of mine like went and saw it early and was like, this movie's trash. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no.
Oh man, I cut a hole in my glove.
Awesome. Yeah, but so the good news is that even though everything seems so bleak now, the good news is that we have like, it's like the iron age of indie right now, especially if you're a horror fan.
I don't think anything's bleak. You know, I just think that I could see potential problems if this goes through. But like I told you earlier, like I don't think that horror is in jeopardy because horror doesn't live with the big companies.
Horror's the cockroach of media.
Yeah. It lives in the indie world. It always has. It always will. Like the best horror every year. I mean, look at last year. The Substance was the best horror movie of the year. And like it made a ton of noise, won Academy Award, all this stuff. Yeah, and it was like a brand new company that came out of nowhere to release that movie.
Yeah, it was great.
Like Mubi, which is like a new streaming service. So like,
and 2026 will be the Hellgate. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, I loved Keeper. Like you didn't like Keeper, right?
Did I see Keeper?
Maybe you didn't see Keeper yet. I loved Keeper. I thought it was awesome. But like, there's just always.
Oh no, this is the fucking
the new Osgood Perkins movie.
Yeah, this is gonna be the last one I watch if it's not. This movie better blow me away, or else I'm done with Osgood.
Well, it's not the monkey. It definitely doesn't have.
Thank God.
But I think you'll probably have issues with Keeper because I feel like a lot of the things that are important to you in a script, this one might leave you wanting. Because like the big thing about Keeper is the ending is very much up to your own interpretation.
Great.
And like you never like that. You always feel like
all that tells me is they didn't know how to end it. That's all that tells me.
But I don't. Sometimes that can be the case, but in certain cases like this, it's an artistic choice, and it's more about your interpretation of it. Like there is an ending there, it just can be taken in different ways. Like you can come away thinking like different.
I mean, look, there
is such a thing as a bad ending or whatever. But like,
the Thing is the best movie with that kind of ending where it's like,
and that's up to your interpretation.
Absolutely. So like you can do it well. American Psycho.
Yeah.
Like you can do it well.
Exactly. American Psycho is a good example of the kind of ending I'm talking about. And I feel like Keeper has that kind of ending where it's like, you might have some questions still, but they do give you like shit does happen. It's not like the screen just goes black. It's just a matter of you have to kind of like decide what you think, like what you think that means or what you think happened,
Yeah. Nurse Joy, I say no. Kanan says yes. That's all you're going to get from us. About should I watch The Monkey at least once? She says, should I watch The Monkey at least once? The source
Absolutely.
No.
Just go in knowing it's a stupid movie. It's stupid, goofy kind of humor.
It's not funny.
No, that's the thing. And that's why he doesn't like it. It's like, I know a lot of people, it's not just me, that thought it was super funny. Like I was dying laughing, but it's very much a movie that like, it's either going to be your thing and you're going to enjoy that kind of humor or not. Like, it's just how it works. It's not a matter of it not being funny. It's just not funny to certain people. It's like a certain sense of humor.
Not funny at all. Okay. Well,
what other stories do we have on our thing?
I don't know, but I got to get out of here pretty soon.
Oh, Orphan sequel. I know. I just wanted to make sure we hit because the title.
All right. Well, all right. Let's go through this then real quick. Cause I do got to get out of here.
I'm just saying, cause so do I. Well, not really. Cause I have nothing going on, but
I just have another phone call I have to make after this.
Yeah, I'm just
working.
Okay.
From Bloody Disgusting, Orphan
Did you see? We don't need to read it all, man. Like, for the sake of time, it's just that they're making a prequel, because they can't obviously make a sequel, because if you've seen the first Orphan, you know, spoiler, but you know, like, I don't, if you haven't seen the first Orphan, then turn off this podcast. But if you've seen the first one, then you know that her character dies in the first Orphan. But they already made a prequel, and that was Orphan First Kill. And that came out 2 years ago. And they were able to bring her back because it's a prequel. It's set before the and I went into that. Did you see that one, dude?
No.
You saw the first Orphan, right?
I saw the first Orphan and I was fine. Like,
yeah, I did not think I would like Orphan First Kill at all. I was like, dude, how are you going to make a prequel of this character and use the same actress who's like, she was like 12 years old at the time. Now she's like in her 20s. How are you going to make this 20-something-year-old woman look like a 12-year-old kid again and all this, right? The cool thing is they didn't use any de-aging. They used old school practical ways of making her still be a little kid. And it's awesome. Like, if you see the behind the scenes, like they put her in platform shoes and like they did all these like forced perspective things and stuff. And it's awesome. It's actually really, really good. It's really a fun movie. Okay. And so I never thought I would be excited for them to make another one, but I am, like, because if like they were able to have another twist, because that's the big thing about the first one is like you didn't know she was, the whole movie you're watching it not realizing she's a full-grown woman, right? And so I'm like, how are you going to make the sequel work without, there's no twist? They have a new twist. They were able to find a way to make a new twist, and it was awesome. So I'm excited to see what they do now.
Next story is Iron Lung. Markiplier's extremely bloody Iron Lung gets an unsurprising R rating. So for those of you who don't know, Markiplier made a horror movie called Iron Lung. And
you ever watch Markiplier?
No.
I'm a big fan of his because
really, I was never into YouTube culture, unfortunately. Being a YouTuber.
Well, I'm not a big fan of most of the YouTube culture. Especially like the gamer culture, and that's where he got his start, is being a gamer. But there's certain ones of them who rose above just being that gamer streamer thing. Like, for instance, Penguin Zero is another one of those where they
I know that
grew out of that and then have now done other things. Markiplier's that. He's taken that notoriety and that fame and all that, and he's done other things with it. And what he does is he takes his money and he puts it where his mouth is, so to speak. He puts it into creative projects. So like he did a series, he starred in it and produced it, that was like 2 years ago, I think. I'm not remembering this. I actually covered it on the channel, but I can't remember the name of the series. But it was actually really surprisingly good for a very small budget series, horror series. It was actually really fucking good. And this is his next project. He put, like, from what I've heard, he's put like almost everything he has and time and money and energy and everything into this.
It says
he's working on it for a couple of years.
He says self-releasing his self-financed horror movie in theaters beginning January 30th. Plan is to hit at least 50 to 100 independent theaters.
Yep.
Official synopsis. The stars are gone. The planets have disappeared. Only individuals aboard space stations or starships were left to give the end a name. The Quiet Rapture. After decades of decay and crumbling infrastructure, the consolidation of iron has made a discovery on a barren moon designated AT5, an ocean of blood. Hoping to discover desperately needed resources, they immediately launch an expedition. A submarine is crafted, and a convict is welded inside. Due to the pressure and depth of the ocean, the forward viewport has been encased in metal. If successful, they will earn their freedom. If not,
live wired. It is. It's based on that video game.
This will be the 13th expedition. So
yeah, but the trailer looks actually pretty fucking good, dude. He just released it.
Do they have a trailer?
Yeah, it released yesterday or the day
All right,
before.
we'll watch the trailer and then I gotta get out of here.
Like it looks gory and fun. Like definitely low budget. Like you know, this is not like we're not talking about a guy who's worth like $100 million. You know what I mean? Like he's wealthy, but it's still a self-financed movie. Like I'm guessing he probably spent $1 million or so on it.
Okay. All right, here we go. We're gonna watch it. Here we go.
I see that question in your eyes. For what purpose do we remain alone in the dark?
Beginning the descent. Cruising depth in roughly 2 minutes. Stand by.
I ask myself that very same question.
I'm seeing some voltage irregularities on the instrument, so keep an eye out for sparks or flames or anything like that.
Why would there be flames? You did test this thing, right?
This is the test. Closing porthole shielding.
Where's the reason for this quiet rapture? Too few to rebuild, too many to feed.
You're the first one down. All we have are surface scans, that's why you're there.
I love that Resident Evil sounding voice.
One of the reasons.
Can we just agree this is important? Food, air. We need this, not just the COI, all of us. We need this.
There aren't enough of us left to be throwing lives away, but there is too much at stake not to take calculated risks. Eden doesn't understand that. You don't understand that.
I just want to live. Is that so wrong? Why doesn't anybody else want that?
So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, it looks super low budget.
I mean, could be good.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to tell from that trailer, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't show a lot. But I'm so excited.
Looks lame.
Looks lame. No, I would have thought that too if I hadn't.
I don't know what was
like
going on.
He hasn't. He knows. Like that's the thing about Markiplier, because he plays so many horror video games. He knows what's fun in a horror movie, and so I'm pretty sure it's gonna be entertaining. Like it may be rough around the edges and stuff because of budget and this and that, but he's not like, it's not going to be an art house movie. Let's just put it that way.
All right.
You know, it's not going to be a slow burn. Like there's gonna, you know, that's, you know, just not really his. He's going to be, if anything, it'll be a little bit campy, you know.
I'm fine with that.
I think it'll be cool. I think it's going to be cool.
All right, cool. All right. Well, we went a little long tonight, which is okay. We're getting back to our form of the over an hour, but we got to get out
exactly.
of here.
The game is simple, and I think this movie is going to be simple too. Like it's not going to be like an art, like I said, it's not going to be an art house kind of movie. It's not going to be super complicated. It's not going to have lots of like meaning and hidden layers, and you know.
Yeah, let's just get Markiplier on the show. Let's just talk to him about it.
I don't have any way to contact him.
Email him.
He's like a 20 million subscriber YouTuber.
38 million.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How are we gonna? Yeah. Okay. All right. We gotta get out of here. But thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining in the debate about the Netflix and Warner Brothers acquisition. We'll probably talk about it more as the weeks go on and as the story develops. But anyway, thanks again for watching. We will see you next Wednesday right here on the Death Rattle podcast, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. on the West Coast, 10:30 a.m. over there in Australia or whatever time it is over there. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you around. Happy birthday, Kanan. Bye.
Thanks, man.